Alright, so I finally got around to getting back to the Star Wars movies. And I sat down and I watched The Empire Strikes Back. And I gotta say, it holds up as one of, if not the best Star Wars film. Empire Strikes Back is still hands down right up there at the top. Um, it had been a while since I rewatched the original trilogy. I mean, not a decade, but I've seen them all a million times. But really sitting down with a critical eye and watching them and try to compare them and see which ones really are my favorites. I've talked about before how I personally really enjoy the prequels, and a lot of people fucking hate the prequels. So like I'm the weirdo here. I get that, but I just love the stories they tell. I love the intricacy of it. Um, I don't know. It felt more like a grown-up Star Wars, which was cool because it was like it grew up with me. I was a little kid watching the original trilogy, and I was a young adult watching the prequels. I was a teenager and a young adult watching the prequels. So, yeah, I really enjoy the prequels, and but still to this day, Empire Strikes Back, it's at the top of the list. It doesn't matter how old it is. Like I said, I had some complaints about A New Hope in the last video that I did on this, and I don't have those complaints for this. So, like some of the complaints about the pitiful lightsabers and stuff that they couldn't really help. Like it was pretty fucking awesome for 1977. Um, but in this movie, I don't have those same issues. I don't run into those same issues. They, obviously the graphics aren't as good as today, but it just doesn't rub me the wrong way. It doesn't bother me in this film because the film's so damn good. Just everything about this thing. Right from the beginning, you get our first look at like a drastically different type of planet than we've seen before, a different type of setting. You get the snow planet, and that's one of my favorite things about Star Wars is that scene on the snow planet, and then Luke gets taken by the fucking monster underground in the cave. And little known fact, what am I talking about? The Star Wars fans are going to watch it, so you probably already know this, but if you didn't know it, Mark Hamill got into like a car accident right before filming Empire Strikes Back, and it almost ruined, like, they weren't going to film. They were going to have to postpone for a long time. They decided to add that scene where he gets taken by the cave monster or whatever. I know there's a name for it, but I can't think of it right now. He has him hanging upside down and he's like beaten and he's like bleeding from his face. That was because he actually had some like injuries that he was recovering from his car accident where his face was kind of messed up. And I don't know, I think I saw that in one of the old documentaries back in the day, in the early 2000s. Anyway, I always thought that was pretty cool that they did that. But yeah, having these different looks at these different planets that we haven't seen before. All we've seen before is Tatooine, which is like desert planet, and then we've seen a lot of shit in space and on space stations, shit like that. And we've seen like kind of a wooded area of a planet, but that's pretty much it. And in this one, we get some brand new settings. We get the snow, the ice planet, and then we get some swamps. Right? We get the swamps where Yoda is, where he goes to find Yoda, and just this movie's great, man. I'm like, what's to not like about a movie that has a training sequence? I'm the biggest Rocky fan in the world, and if a movie has a fucking training montage of any sort, I'm all in. Take my money. I love training montages. So I'm just a kid of the 80s and 90s, and I love that shit. But yeah, Empire. It's the perfect movie, man. There's nothing wrong with it. it's fantastic, beginning to end. And I also like that basically the ending of this film is the bad guys win, and I like that. I like movies that switch it up a little bit, where it's like, oh shit, that's kind of a down ending. I liked it. Um, I'll talk about Return of the Jedi next time, but I also enjoyed Return of the Jedi. But as we're in Return of the Jedi, there are some things, some drawbacks, like the Ewoks. You know, um, in the original Star Wars: A New Hope, there's some drawbacks, like the lightsaber fighting and shit like that. Um, Chewbacca not getting his medal. There's some problems with the first one. There's some problems with the third one, but the one right in the middle, The Empire Strikes Back, they did that shit right, man. It still holds up. So that's my kind of rewatch review of Empire Strikes Back. I will be doing Return of the Jedi next, and then I will go into, 7, 8, and 9. I saw 9 like the day it came out, or the day after it came out, and I'll let you know my thoughts on that, but not until I talk about all my rewatches of all of the other films leading up to it. Except I skipped Rogue One. I'll throw that in here right now, though. Rogue One is up there with Empire for me, and I know a lot of people might not agree with that, but it's kind of similar in a sense of it's very military based. It's based on like military battles and shit more so than the Jedi compared to the other movies. Not that there's not Jedi Sith stuff going on in Empire, but it's the first movie that like really focuses on this war between the Empire and these rebel forces. So regular ass people, shooting blasters and shit. So I really enjoyed that, and Rogue One did that, and it's got it did that beautifully, and it's got the most badass Darth Vader scene in all of the films, period. It's fucking phenomenal. Like, I've rewatched that so many times just because of how badass it is. Anyway, we were talking about Empire. Empire is, like I said, it's up there either at the very top spot or right next to, adjacent to Rogue One for me. And I'll talk about Return of the Jedi next time. If you like videos like this where I talk about movies, TV series, comic books, pop culture, nerd shit, subscribe for more, because that's what I do here. I just get on here and talk shit, whatever I feel like talking about. So if you enjoyed that sort of thing, subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.